Do you want a free cookie?
Thank you so much.
It was MrBeast. Invited me over his house and gambled away all of my Bitcoin. The rabbit hole goes much deeper, and I'm talking to you right now, Jimmy, only you for what you did to me.
Hello. This is another video filmed inside the urine-soaked bathrooms, apparently. I'm still trying to work on some kind of backdrop. At the minute, it's not working out too great. Now, I am talking about MrBeast. I love talking about MrBeast. It is the best way for your video to easily do a 1 out of 10 in the YouTube studio. Now, I've made many videos about MrBeast, but this one is probably the strangest.
Nigga not lying when you say that. That's why we here, you. Oh, God.
By far, because he basically didn't do anything wrong. So on the 10th of August, Milad actually posted a video called Trust Nobody. And in this video, he talked about some pretty bad happenings. So apparently, when he was early into his content creation era, he was approached by a very large YouTuber and asked him if they wanted to collaborate on a project together.
When I first started out on YouTube, I had another YouTuber reach out to me to collab, and I'll never forget this for the rest of my life.
He said yes, because again, if you're the smaller YouTuber in this scenario, you'll probably say yes in most cases, because again, if you're collabing with someone larger than you, you're always going to benefit more. And so the two ended up collabing, but then things seem to have taken a turn for the worst. Milad was apparently invited back to the YouTuber's house, and then they hung out for a bit, and apparently then the scary vice of gambling was brought up.
They invited me over to their house after our collab, and we had a great time, but somehow the conversation of gambling came up.
By the way, as many of you know, I'm in Australia right now. Apparently, Australia has the highest gambling loss in the world. That still blows me away. I did a quick search, and apparently Australia only has 1% of the world's population, but 18% of the world's poker machines. And they have the biggest loss per capita, losing $25 billion a year, and also earning $31 billion a year through gambling. You wonder where the Kick head offices are? They're in Australia. But apparently, he found out that this YouTuber was a huge gambler. And even though apparently Milad didn't really dabble with gambling that much, sure, he was down to join in for fun.
This person loved to gamble, and even though I'm not a huge gambler, I wanted to because I thought it would be fun.
Now, when Milad was asked how much he was willing to gamble, obviously you should set some kind of limit. I know the meme of the man digging through the hole, and there's diamonds right there. Never quit gambling. You're always one slot away from winning. But again, you probably should still set limits. I mean, personally, I don't really gamble myself. Maybe I'll go to a casino with friends like once a year or something like that. But I know for a fact that I will lose all of that money. But obviously, you just have fun doing it. You try and space it out as much as possible. I've never seen a casino as a way to make money. It's just to lose money in a kind of entertaining way. I say that, by the way, and then one night I'll probably put $10 down, turn it into $10,000, and instantly become a gambling addict. I actually think the only time I've like...
If you want to build an app and have no idea how to code or
because I know online gambling is a very slippery slope. There's a lot of convenience there. You don't even need to leave the house or the apartment. Was the Logan and KSI fight, and I basically made all the wrong bets because KSI ended up winning. So Milad set a limit of around $200 because at the time he wasn't really that big of a creator. I mean, to be fair, he was only really 2 months into his career, so there wasn't really much money around then.
So they asked me how much I wanted to gamble, and I recommended that we gamble maybe $200 because, well, I'm not trying to lose a lot of money. And keep in mind, this was literally 2 months into YouTube, and before this, I had never made money in my life. This person literally laughed at me, and
apparently Milad was laughed at for setting the limit at $200. And then this specific creator that he still hasn't named yet said to him, "How much do you have in your Coinbase account?" Obviously, for those who don't know, Coinbase is basically like one of the biggest crypto trading platforms in the world. And at the time, Milad said he basically had around half a Bitcoin, which was around $21,000.
Asked me how much I had in my Coinbase account because they knew I'm a Bitcoin guy. I had 0.57 Bitcoin in there, which at the time was around $21,000.
And the worst thing is, if Milad actually kept that Bitcoin in his account, it would now be worth over $100,000. So this YouTuber, again, that Milad keeps saying but not actually naming, asked him to send him the Bitcoin and he'd use it in gambling.
Wait, okay, this is random. He's using the Plants vs. Zombies instrumental very quietly. I know I'm not tripping, chat, But that's
And even if he lost, he'd pay him back.
They told me to send all of it and that they would pay me back. Now, normally I would never in a million years ever agree to this, but I really trusted this person and he was a massive creator, so I agreed and sent the money.
Now, obviously, this is one of the biggest red flags imaginable. Bro, just give me some crypto. I promise I'll pay you back. I mean, you can even say that with real world money. Bro, this guy you just met, just give him some money. He'll pay you back. But I guess it was a mix of like, you know, seeing a bigger creator and hoping to, you know, get another collab or something like that. So he basically abided, gave him the Bitcoin. And much like anyone in the casino, the loss happened, and it happened very quick. In about 5 minutes, the $21,000 evaporated.
I'm not even kidding. Within 5 minutes, they gambled away all of my money, but I was completely okay with it because I was like, I'm going to get this money back.
But obviously, he was promised that he would be paid back by the creator, you know, if the money was lost. So Milad claims after the collab wrapped up, after it was finished, everyone went home, and then he asked for the Bitcoin back, and there wasn't any kind of response. He reached out again, apparently, and no response.
So I go back home and I reach out for my Bitcoin. The first time, no response. The second time, no response. I reached out about 5 more times before I realized, oh, I just got completely bamboozled.
He basically asked to have the money lent back to him with the understanding that he'd get like around 5 times, and again, no response. So Milad is now down $21,000. Again, he got basically the collab of the century, but
the
still
collab.
being down
Where's he from? The collab.
on over 20k, not really the best look. Now, if you check the comments of this video, it wasn't actually pulled, unlike the other one that I'll talk about soon. And people really want to know who this creator is because he wasn't named in the video. Like there's one guy here saying, dude, it's your moral responsibility to say something. This guy has access to tons of other small creators that won't be as lucky as you to recover from this. It's your duty to stop it. And then Milad basically heard people's concerns. He saw the comments. He definitely saw the views on the TikTok and thought to himself, okay, you know what? Let's make a sequel and actually name drop this person. Now, again, this video has been deleted at the time of recording, but the original one still alluding to him is still up. And also this video has been obviously re-uploaded basically everywhere. So it basically opens up with this like moral obligation that he has to name drop this creator, even though he apparently had no intention of doing so previously.
Yesterday, I told a story about how when I was 2 months into YouTube, I had a big YouTuber collab with
Y'all know who he's talking about, right?
me that invited me over his house and gambled away all of my Bitcoin, promising that he would pay me back, but he didn't. Now, I had zero intention of name dropping this person, but I now believe I have an obligation to keep this dude accountable because if he did this to me, he's probably done it to many others.
And again, who is it? Who do you think it is? It's the title of the video. It's the only reason you clicked on this video. It's MrBeast.
It was MrBeast.
So apparently MrBeast was the person who gambled this guy's Bitcoin away and then basically ghosted him and never paid him back. So he does try to give a little bit more context here. The collab he apparently did was like baking 50,000 cookies for MrBeast's philanthropy channel. And there is a version of this uploaded both on MrBeast's philanthropy channel and Milad's own personal channel, like his perspective. So this video did happen. And this was all the way back in like June 2021. So to give some context, MrBeast was doing a food drive because in this one town, 35% of people that lived there were under the poverty line. Oh my God, that voice. Ooh. Ooh. Let's not do that again.
Let me explain. We're gonna drive out to a small county where 35% of the people live below the poverty line. And we're literally gonna give out food to any family that needs it.
So initially, they were just gonna give like any family that shows up 3 boxes of food. But now with Milad on board, who's known for like baking and cooking, he was gonna give away 50,000 cookies on top of that. And MrBeast kind of makes it out that Milad kind of did this like of his own volition, even saying like for whatever reason, Milad made all these cookies. I'm guessing that was just like part of the narrative because Milad does actually say that MrBeast reached out to him.
Wait, but this food drive's a little different because this TikToker right here, Milad, for whatever reason, felt compelled to bake 50,000 cookies and donate it to Peace Philanthropy.
Milad says that to make 50,000 cookies, it took him 4 days in the kitchen. He also had to pay for his flight in North Carolina where the shoot was taking place. Because as you know, that's where MrBeast...
You know what? I'm going to break down something. Okay, so it's a capitalization type of thing, right? Why would he do it? Because it's, you know, MrBeast hit him up for the collab, and then he's pitching in his part to make 50,000 cookies, right? Perception based is, okay, you're making money off YouTube, or, you know, you have some money in the bank. Obviously, you're playing for flights. You didn't ask MrBeast to, you know, buy you a flight. He paid for his own flight. So at this point, you could tell it's going into the assumption category of why he's doing that.
I guess the beast compound is the breast compound.
He invited me over his house after I spent 4 days straight in a kitchen making 50,000 cookies for his charity. Bought tickets to fly out to North Carolina.
And on top of that, he had to basically pay for the ingredients to, you know, make the cookies. And that apparently cost him around $10,000.
And spent $10,000 of my own money on said cookies for his charity. And then he told me to send him all the Bitcoin in my Coinbase account and gamble it away in under 4 minutes.
I mean, you'd think if it was a collab, Milad would have had like his flights paid for, the ingredients paid for.
There was a way MrBeast probably looked at this like, yo, you dumb fuck. And excuse my language for saying this, but like, he didn't make no money off of YouTube. He's smart enough to have a Coinbase, but there was like something missing, like the common sense portion of it all. You feel me? You're convincing somebody to give you what's in your Coinbase. Your Coinbase is like, should be like never discussed with anybody. That's like your, like, okay, bank account is one thing, but even then it's just like, no, why would you even tell somebody what's in your bank account? But your Coinbase is like above your bank account. It's like,
I'm kind of surprised that he wasn't, but then again, I guess Milad had a lot more to gain here than Jimmy did. He was basically just hosting someone for a small segment in his philanthropy video. So I guess to not make the collab totally free, he basically had to pay his way there and pay to actually have the appearance via buying the ingredients himself. Now, he also claims there were like loads of witnesses to this as well, but like apparently most of them were like friends of MrBeast, so they won't come out against him. But one thing Milad does show is a transaction history from his Bitcoin wallet.
There were many witnesses, and this is the transaction. You gotta love the blockchain. It doesn't miss a thing.
And this is one thing I've noticed about MrBeast is a lot of people can come out about him and basically say anything they want, and people will just kind of run with that. Some of it in the past definitely has stuck to the point that he has actually had to come out and address things. But then there are situations like this where there isn't really too much proof shown apart from like a singular transaction and just a story time with no screenshots, and people will still run with that as well. Now, Milad, while he's doing sandwiches in this short, he basically addresses MrBeast directly and apparently told him, again with no proof, that he needs to start making gambling content.
I need you guys to understand the position I've just put myself into. I essentially am going against an audience of 1 billion people, and many people will be coming after me and trying to tear down what I've built because I now decide to choose to tell my truth. They'll call me a liar, they'll call me a clout chaser, they'll do anything to discredit my truth, but I don't care. If something's scary but it needs to be done, you need to do it scared. And right now, honestly, as I speak these words, I'm pretty terrified. I'm not scared of you, Jimmy. I'm scared of your money, and I'm sure there's many other victims terrified to tell their story about this guy too, but I empower you to do so. Now, this part of the video is for you, Jim. I know you're watching. You're probably really mad, but Jimmy, this is exactly what you told me to do, remember? You looked me dead in the eyes as you gambled away my Bitcoin and told me that this should be the content I make, and well, here we are.
Milad also says that he doesn't want an apology and he doesn't actually want the money back. He apparently just wants his story to be out there so people know that MrBeast did wrong.
I don't want my money back. I don't want an apology. I want you to know that what you did isn't right, and I want you to really think about what you did to me. If there's any others you may have done wrong, I ask you to repay those people in silence. I don't want you to text me. I don't want you to address this. You might even want to send me a defamation case. At the end of the day, you can do whatever you want. You're your own man.
And then, like many of these videos calling out MrBeast, he hints at like a much deeper rabbit hole to dive into. Again, without really giving much like context or anything.
But the rabbit hole goes much deeper, and I don't want it to go there. I know there's many people in your organization that make a living, and I don't want to affect those people.
Now, the real question here, is this true? Did this happen? Or did it come to him in a dream? Well, apart from the screenshot that Milad shows showing the Bitcoin account, there wasn't really any updates or evidence at all. People actually ended up looking up the Bitcoin wallet address shown in the video and who the Bitcoin was sent to. And it does show that that transaction was actually made in May 2021, which was a month before the collaboration. That being said as well, though, if you look at the account, there is basically zero history of it at all, implying that MrBeast might have made the account just for like a singular transaction and then basically never touched the account again. Now, in a bizarre turn of events, Milad actually ended up taking down this video calling out MrBeast. And again, the original video
okay. You know, I was gonna ask y'all, do y'all actually think he did it? And I was gonna be on board and say he did, but I ain't gonna lie, like, if I think he probably, I think something's not being told in the context of like, okay, Mr. Beast probably seen an opportunity to maybe get over, but also it's Mr. Beast, like. So I'm kind of thinking like, I don't know. He probably said, "Yo, how much money you got in your Bitcoin wallet?" Like, as a form of like, "Yo, let's do a collaboration because you're gonna make more money off of what you put in." And you know, when things went left, they're like, "Yo, Mr. B, he was trying to collab with Mr. Beast on another video. I don't think he reached back out." I think that's honestly what happened.
Alluding to him is still up.
Because he's attached some way, somehow to Mr. Beast's name. You got to think about it. So that controversy or that internet revenue that it brings back, like just because his name's attached to Mr. Beast, you really got to think about that.
On his account. You can go watch that now. So you've got a video of alluding to a YouTuber, but the one naming the YouTuber, it got nuked. Now he did address why the video was taken down, but it was in like a really strange and bizarre way. There wasn't a follow-up video. There wasn't a big tweet made addressing everything, but there was an account with 8 followers and they put out a tweet in the Twitter community called Justice of Milad, which they're an admin for. They're like one of 2 members. Basically, you know, doing a quick summary of what Milad was saying in the video. And the tweet only got like 1,800 views, 13 likes. It just went completely under the radar. I'm not saying because a tweet didn't blow up, it's like less reliable, but it's just showing that the thought patterns here are a little bit bizarre because Milad actually chose this tweet to reply to saying, "Hey, it was a misunderstanding and I deleted the video," which again, like, that brings more questions than answers. Where did the misunderstanding come from? You seem pretty certain that you gave him $20,000 worth of well, over $20,000 worth of Bitcoin. He gambled it and you never got it back and he ghosted you. I mean, again,
I think the confusion part about this is he's saying gambling. I don't think it was gambling. I deadass think that for that collaboration, it was a 20,000 and Mr. Beast didn't hit him back up after that. I deadass think that's what it was. It's Mr. Beast at the end of the day, bro. Like, he probably thought dumping in all that money was gonna bring like another collab or like them to be friends when it was literally just like, hey, he just chose to hit up.
Milad made that video, like even calling out Mr. Beast by name. So he must have been pretty confident in like the evidence that he had or the proof or like, you know, his recollection of events. I mean, in the video that he took down, he even ends it with like a middle finger saying, "F you, Mr. Beast."
But I'm talking to you right now, Jimmy. Only you for what you did to me.
So I don't understand how it's gone from like hating this guy to then switching up and saying, "Oh, it was a misunderstanding. I had a dream. I had a dream where you gambled $20,000 worth of Bitcoin." I mean, there could be like a myriad of reasons here. Milad could have been lying for views and for clicks, even though that doesn't really... I don't believe that theory personally. But again, you say misunderstanding and it's... What misunderstanding? That's such a bizarre thing to say. Like if you said something like, you know, Jimmy reached out to me in the DMs, I got paid back or I sorted it, because like Mr. Beast in the past has, like, as we've seen, reached out to people personally through DMs, you know, to try and like sort out beef or to communicate with people in kind of a more private manner, not tweeting at them publicly. But I don't understand, like, was there a contract that was signed saying like you couldn't ask for the money back or something like that? Or maybe even the Mr. Beast lawyer team hit him with a cease and desist. But again, I find that so hard to believe. Like, I really wish I had like a good conclusion here. I wish I could say, oh, this happened or this happened. But like, you know, you make a claim about Mr. Beast basically like scamming you out of 20K, and then it's like, oh, it's a misunderstanding. I'm just so silly. I'm just so silly. So what's the moral of this video? You clicked on yet another video talking about Mr. Beast. Shame on you.